Definitely, it's all about adapting in the new season, not the player, just actually adapting to Season 4, you know? Because a lot of changes happen there. We'll see what Lion Guard can do in Game 2 now, up against Dignitas. And it will be Dignitas with the first pick again this time around.
Just getting taken off the table, surprisingly enough, that normally when you're first pick, you want to develop some strategies around your mid laner. We've seen a lot of teams do it, specifically Energy, where they cater around Yamin. And Team Dignitas could do the same here if they wanted to for Zyrhoes, but he's very comfortable with a lot of unconventional gods, I would say.
I would say Zyrhoes is starting to feel what Lobster felt like playing with Qvo and Trix for the longest time there. Like, he didn't shine bright like a diamond, but what he did do was get chased around the map a lot of the time and have to reposition himself and look after himself.
Somebody has to pull that short straw out of the bunch, and that fortunately is going to be the mid laner here from Team Dignitas. Fafnir, first pick from Team Dignitas.
Over Sylvanus.
Yeah, Sylvanus was open. There's just a lot of options.
Yeah, over Sylvanus is very interesting to me, but we'll see what happens with that Fafnir now. The Cabrakan ban by Lion Guard, I guess they were worried about Dignitas doing that to them. Obviously, I got it wrong before because I said Dignitas first pick again. It was Lion Guard last game who had first pick, but they're going to get the Poseidon for themselves this time round. And I felt like FrostiaK's Cabrakan wasn't bad at all that game. It was a good Cabrakan performance. He just didn't really have follow-up from his team. He got the CC off. He absorbed a lot of damage too.
He also put himself and his team in a bad position whenever Variety took advantage of the ultimates from that Cabrakan, putting himself in an immobile position during the Tremors. It was an easy blink fearless combination, but now Team Dignitas getting the Fafnir and the Ratatoskr. Normally, a lot of hunters will like to go for this late game style now in Season 4, with crit being less efficient with the nerfs to the Poison Star. So this is why we see Apollo being locked in with Fafnir, setting him up for more attack speed.
Both teams showing a little bit more depth of their god pools as well with this one. Obviously, all the picks have pretty much switched up from last game in terms of what they picked there. Sylvanus has been locked in for Lion Guard now, though. I like the fact that they held onto that Sylvanus pick until this moment, just because they didn't have to draft a Guardian knowing Fafnir was already taken.
They're now going to be able to ban away some mids, potentially, from Team Dignitas, but it's going to be the Aphrodite. Normally, when you pick up Sylvanus this late in the draft, you're trying to shut down a lot of burst magey mids because you don't want to have your Guardian get locked down too early in the draft, but I like them to go for these comfort bands, Aphrodite and Tyr, taken away from Team Dignitas.
It kind of spells to me that they want Ra to be picked for Dignitas here, making sure that Zyrhoes can't have that Aphrodite. I know Zyrhoes likes to play the Aphrodite, the supportive style, but he can play a Ra as well, a pretty mean one if he goes through.
I've seen him play Giannis very effectively. He could look to do that. They have global pressure with Ratatoskr and Apollo. Why not add a third one with the Giannis? Oh, it's going to be new, huh?
More defensive, safer option, especially against the likes of Poseidon and Susano, who are going to be looking for the all-in potential against him. And as we saw last game, FrostiaK really paid a lot of attention to Zyrhoes in that game. If he does the same thing here, well, Nuwa can use her ultimate and buy herself a few more seconds.
It makes a little sense as to why the Nuwa over the Giannis, because during the Giannis portal, Susano can easily find the jet stream, connect onto the Giannis, and then chase him through the portal if you wanted to, but Nuwa going into the sky is going to buy herself a little bit more time.
I want to see Variety's Ymir for a little while in the solo lane, but it looks like we're going to be seeing that in this game, as the Ymir has now just been drafted in as well for the side of Team Dignitas. On paper, Tolly, how are we feeling about this
I like the control from Team Dignitas with Variety on this Ymir, the global pressure with Ratatoskr and Apollo. It should go the way of Team Dignitas. Looking at Lion Guard's draft, though, they have a lot of control here between Sylvanus, Fenrir, Susano. The question is, how effective is ShadowNightmare going to be on this Poseidon?
Let's go in and see how this one will break out. It is going to be Variety on the Ymir, which I expected, and Ducky on the Fenrir in solo lane up against that Ymir. How's that matchup, Tolly? You know a little bit more about solo than me, for sure.
Well, it's pretty easy for the Ymir. Obviously, you can freeze out the Brutalize, but what Ducky's trying to really do is just to constantly poke out the Ymir with his Unchained. Every single time Variety's looking for the carpet, he's going to be an easy sitting duck. Yeah,
so he's going to jump at him every single time.
Do damage. And that's rinse and repeat, and which is why we see Variety pick up the mark of the Vanguard, trying to negate a lot of that damage. 10 physical protection and 5 damage off of every source.
Oh, hammer time in mid lane for ShadowNightmare. I don't think he really liked what he heard from it, that's for sure. As Trixtank got a lot of free poke off with Zyrhoes, and ShadowNightmare won't want to go back to base if he can help it, especially with a minion wave coming in. But it is going to make him at least use one potion for now, and then a second one probably soon after.
Huge advantage for Team Dignitas. The minions have barely even touched each other in the middle. Trixtank and Zyrhoes able to really outclear ShadowNightmare and FrostiaK as a result. With those potions down, once the buffs start taking off the table, ShadowNightmare is going to be in a lot of trouble.
Well, this pressure in mid lane for Dignitas has meant that Arkkyl was left alone on the left-hand side there. His purple buff is about to be stolen for Lion Guard there. Frezzyy Frezzyy and FleuryQ going to be able to combine to pick that one up as well. But we should see Arkkyl hit level 2 because he did take the babies away. Right hand side, though, same sort of story as Dignitas will steal away a blue.
We're seeing more and more invades out of Lion Guard. I like the idea and the mindset to be this aggressive. Take advantage of the fact that obviously the support is not being catered towards the Hunter, but on the flip side, Dignitas taking away the blue and the speed. QvoFred doing a good job controlling with variety, and that's what you really want to do with a Guardian. Set himself up in the early game.
Well, it's very funny to see this because you can see a mirror across the map. If you're going to give up stuff on the left-hand side, the enemy team's going to aggress on the right-hand side. You've got to make the trade-offs from FrostiaK here, looking to invade more on the left. The back copy is very useful. The Oracle's being contested by both teams right now, though, and it's going to be an even split by the looks of it, as I do not see any glow of red or blue in the sky around the goal.
Fortunately for FrostiaK, he wanted to go behind those two members from Team Dignitas and not really able to find that position. He's going to regroup with the rest of his team for that red buff. Arkkyl just casually farming away, looking at his build. He's going to be building into the boots, while FleuryQ, yet again, going for more of an ability-based build with rushing the Transcendence onto this Medusa.
You see, with Medusa as well, she's ability-based, but not as much so as Anith is. So Transcendence and Fatalis works a little bit stronger in her, I'd say, than Anith.
Especially with the passive from the Medusa, having 50% reduced movement speed while backstrafing, no movement speed penalty while side strafing. So it makes a little bit more sense if you wanted to go for more attack speed based with the Fatalis. That's a good idea to go for on Medusa.
Well, keep it on the right-hand side there, because you can see ShadowNightmare's hovering around near those elementals, maybe thinking about a rotation towards Variety, who's got a 2-level lead over Ducky in this lane now. And when Ymir's ahead in a lane, it's very difficult to deal with him. Talking about a lead in the mid, it's ShadowNightmare who's going to fall down with 3 men collapsing onto him. Lion Guard were just not in position to defend.
FrostiaK making the rotation with Frezzyy. Nice little pull, getting pulled into the tower, taking a tower shot. Not too much follow-up, still only level 4 is Frezzyy and FrostiaK. That would have been a nice play if Frezzyy was level 5, because after the pull, that would have been the Wrath of Terror. We would have seen potentially the Typhoon, but Team Dignitas with a nice, comfortable 800 gold lead and a huge experience lead.
Well, in the mid lane, Frezzy's just walked too far forward again on his Sylvanus, and QvoFred exploited that with the ultimate coming out as well. Nice little play from Trix and Zyrhoes to join in, and this trio is doing good things right now. As on the left-hand side, we've got a bit of a man fight going on, as Arkkyl took a trade 5v4 there. He did get FleuryQ's ultimate, though.
It's a nice idea for Medusa to be able to use that ultimate, even if you're not going to connect on it direct, because you're still going to slow the enemy hunter, as well as do 50% of the damage you normally would. So you're still going to be able to win the poke trade, and at this point, before Arkyl's level 5, you might as well throw that out there before that global presence comes online. You want to make sure that you can potentially out-rotate this Apollo.
Ducky could be in trouble on the right-hand side right now, as he did go aggressive in the wave, and immediately Qvo turned up. He will be picked up by Ragnarok. The wall missed from actual Variety there, and I think Variety may have cost Qvo his life. No, it's not to be, as Variety will clean it up with the help of Zyrhoes and the biggest skill shot ultimate in the game.
Nice job from all of Team Dignitas, synergizing to not only make sure they find the kill, but not sacrificing Qvo's life there. It's really risky play out of Ducky to be, even if he got that kill, he was guaranteed dead from Variety. But wanting to find some kind of snowball here, that's going to result in Variety having this 2-level advantage. And this is a dream position for a Guardian in the solo lane for Variety.
Yeah, indeed, because especially when you get ahead as a Ymir as well, those basics just swing so hard, totally, that people don't recognize how much it's going to do until it hits you and you're like, oh, wow, this is terrible.
That Frostbite passive, whenever you land an ability with Ymir, you get 100% increased in-hand damage as well as reduced incoming damage. So that's going to be very important for Variety to continue to win this 1v1 exchange against Ducky. Everything about Ymir's kit just counters Ducky.
Up, Qvo's down, looking at Ducky again. The wall is perfectly placed. There's freeze as well. QvoFred gets credit for the kill, catching him one more time on the right-hand side. Ducky has been abandoned by his team right now, but FrostiaK may be trying to make something happen now, but it's 2-level lead for Variety he's up against.
Variety proxied the wave. He's the chat stream. The Typhoon is going to be able to knock up Variety, taking about 3 tower shots, 4 now with that pull. The 5th one's going to hit onto QvoFred instead.
The jump was good, Frosty, but no, Qvo is growing greedy.
Where's the Nuon? Nuon does not have ultimate available for Zyrhoes, unfortunately. Not able to clean up FrostiaK, but they did force out the beads out of the Susano jungle here. Comes the rotation from Trixtank. He wants to be able to get this. He might dive this.
This is just People
He's gonna
running in
dive.
one after the other looking to steal it away. He's gonna get it. Oh! Get outplayed, Trix. Get outplayed.
Oh, the ultimate's gonna buy a little bit of time, but Zyrhoes actually... Okay, so Trixtank sacrificed his life to be able to buy time for Zyrhoes' ultimate cooldown.
No, he didn't, Totally. Don't save Trixtank there.
It was calculated,
Trixtank
man.
was greedy as all hell. He didn't know Nuwazo was coming down. He's like, I can get it. I can get it. I can get it. I can't get it. I can't get it. I can't. No, stop. So he trades 1 for 1.
Trust in his teammates, but that 1-for-1 trade, you're trading a level 6 Fafnir for a level 7 Susano. This is going to favor Team Dignitas every single time.
Do you reckon, though, because that gets Ducky at least a bit of experience for getting a kill where he was really struggling in that lane?
That's true. It does help out Ducky getting back into the game a little bit, but the Fenrir already at this point is almost out of the game anyway. QvoFred's been doing a good job shutting down this Fenrir. 2-level disadvantage on the side of the soul laner.
Well, Trix's going to throw the hammer at ShadowNightmare, but he's got no follow-up with him, really. He is proccing his Taloria passive by doing that, though, so it's always wise to just keep throwing out those hammers. It's a nice bit of poke, slows the mobility
Which
down.
is why his net worth is actually almost the highest in the game. Trixtank doing a good job rotating, and that was another reason why he dove that tower. He wanted to get that Taloria.
Totally. Yeah. Stop saving him.
Calculating,
That's
man.
What, you're just a former player, man. That's what you all do. You all stick together and like not admit when you've messed up.
I respect
that. It's like scrims, man. Everyone wins scrims, but then when you hear about it after the fact, they didn't win scrims at all.
Variety doing a good job controlling the soul lane. Yet again, a lot of damage during the Brutalize. Coming out one more in hand with that Frostbite passive. Gonna find the solo kill. Variety 3 levels ahead. Gold Fury was also taken by Team Dignitas.
I'm surprised by that on the right-hand side, too, because I think Ducky could have got out. He was channeling the Brutalize. If he would have cancelled it the moment he started channeling his ult, he wouldn't have taken as much damage, and he would have been able to get away.
Or he could have just used the Brutalize to get away from the range of that ultimate. Frezzyy going to find a double knockup at the landing of QvoFred with Zyrhoes finding the kill onto Frezzyy. FrostiaK right around the corner, getting a pull in QvoFred, not really wanting to commit any further than that.
Speed buff on the right-hand side being taken by ShadowNightmare right now, looking to defend that one as Variety has already taken the tier 1 tower down now as we tune in the duo lane. FleuryQ getting a bit aggressive here up against Arkkyl. I like the use of beads there just to make sure he could get away, because he does apply a slow if he's facing away as well.
Even though that there's a warrior tabby on the side of Arkkyl, but hold that thought, Zyrhoes going to get pulled in, forced to go into the sky, buying a little bit of time, but there's nobody in position to really save him. That's going to be a free kill coming out of Lion Guard. Not much pressure, though, to be able to really take too much off the map. Oracles is up if Lion Guard elect to go for it.
Just a little bit too far forward there, Zyrhoes. He was trying to force that tier 1 tower to fall down with his clay minions and the minion wave he had with him, but he didn't have enough damage in his kit alone to really do it, and it bought Lion Guard a small window there. We've now been able to control the Gold Fury area for extra vision on that left-hand side for the time. It's
so easy for Nuwa to be able to siege the towers at this point. Before, Clay Golems still have the elimination of the backdoor protections in this patch, so you're able to really get this tower low, which is why we see that tier 1 mid tower being about 10% health or so. Zyrhoes getting a little bit greedy, too much for that 500 gold, just riding off the high that they got from the Gold Fury.
Troll versus troll. Who will out-troll the other troll? Find out as Frezzyy gets ganked from behind without realizing it.
Variety around the corner, but he has other intentions. He's going to go into ShadowNightmare, channeling the ultimate, doing a lot of damage, but Zyrhoes not having the ultimate. Frezzyy going to get stunned into place. QvoFred waiting to land, going to find nobody, because a great jump up and down from Ducky.
Troll versus troll. Who will win? Find out in the great game of support who's out of position versus support who's out of position. The winner of that one was Trixtank. If you didn't realize, Frezzyy fell down again, and now they lose a tier 1 tower in mid. They're going to lose a tier 2 tower in mid on the left-hand side. They're trying to catch Arkkyl here and answer back with some gold of this tier 1 tower, but it's not going to be as worthwhile as those two they got in the mid lane.
Arkkyl has to give up that tier 1 tower. His purification beads is still on cooldown, but it's taken a long time to get this tier 1 tower. Not really electing to rotate onto this, instead looking like they were positioning around the fire giant, but they were around 30 seconds too early. Both the portal demon and fire giant don't spawn until the 10-minute mark.
Well, the Elemental's going to go down for the final time the way of Variety, who's now level 13 to Ducky's level 9 in this game. 2-level lead in the jungle as well for QvoFred. Mid laners are even at the moment. We showed you that the mid laners are still doing mid laner things for the most part, very similar to Season 3, but there is definitely advantages right now for Dignitas.
And Zyrhoes just now finishing off his shoes of the Magi. He really wanted to do a little bit of a more interesting style in his build, but now he has the mobility, which is why he had that earlier death, not being able to escape. He really wanted to have that Pythagram's piece, so that way he'd be able to synergize even better with Variety.
Purple buff going to go down as well, and given over to Trixtank, who's liking that one. Zyrhoes going to start the Portal Demon as 4 members of Lion Guard are in the area too, looking to potentially contest this one. Could be a tricky situation. Those clay minions are actually keeping it aggroed for the time being, which slows down the reset and how quickly it regens.
It's a bait though, because if Lion Guard bite and go for the Portal Demon, they're going to be in a lot of trouble. We see the stun coming onto FrostiaK from Trixtank, looking to try to get somebody out of position of
mainly for the speed buff, but Ducky taking a lot of pressure there as well, but he's a little bit tankier than he was before, a little bit more magical resistance online. Sadly though, not even one full item completed after his boots right now. That wall from Variety will slow them down getting through that option for a second, and the Portal Demon will fall. FrostiaK
taking a lot of damage from this level 10 Fafnir. With the Portal Demon onto Team Dignitas, they could potentially look to rotate really heavily. FleuryQ though really feeling himself as he dashes aggressively.
In the sky, looking for a group up, finds 2. Frosty knocked up, spin to win. Qvo cleans him up, and next he turns to ShadowNightmare and gets him 2. Double kill to the jungler from Dignitas.
Where did Lion Guard go? 3 members dead. Arkkyl is going to be casually split pushing the left-hand side as the rest of his team is going to be on that Fire Giant. Only Ducky right around the corner, not electing to really want to commit to this. I'm not even sure if he knows.
Totally, this game's got out of hand. And it got out of hand from the... Whenever it said Troll versus Troll in the mid lane, I had a feeling it was going to go this way by how it's looking now, but this is crazy. 11.5 minutes in, they get a Fire Giant. The gold lead is getting ridiculous right now. No one's doing anything on the side of Lion Guard.
Arkkyl, though, he's in the ultimate. He was afraid that there was a bit more of a pressure coming on the side of FleuryQ, not electing to really do anything there, but 5 members with Fire Giant from Team Dignitas. The question is, where do they go from here? Their siege potential is really good here, considering the fact that they have the clay golems from Zyrhoes able to eliminate backdoor protections, as well as Trixtank that during his dragon form finding the coerce, amplifying the attack speed of both Arkkyl to get more audacity stacks, as well as Zyrhoes to be able to consistently stack his passive to find that root on the 5th hit.
Well, Variety rotate to mid lane there just to slow down Lion Guard from even coming out of their own base, has allowed Dignitas to get the Gold Fury. Now they're going to siege up the left-hand side here, looking for this tier 1 and tier 2 tower as well.
And something that Variety does really successfully on his Ymir is he constantly walls off minions to be able to delay it from entering the wave tier 2 or Phoenix Tower. And that's going to... Variety, though, he's going to get pulled down into this tier 2 tower.
About time they go aggressive onto him, but Variety's pretty tanky right now. Takes a couple of ultimates to the face, will fall down. Tier 1 goes down, but in mid lane, what's going on there? QvoFred has wrapped around the back of ShadowNightmare and trading with Shadow now in the mid lane as this goes on. Kraken forced from ShadowNightmare as Qvo now going to collapse, and Zyrhoes credit for the kill. Meanwhile, left-hand side is Ducky in trouble. Ducky's about to fall down as well. He gets picked up by Arkkyl. Trixtank may want to go aggressive a little bit more, but he is the tank of the team here. So with the clay minions though, backdoor protections removed, tier 2 tower falls as well.
Typhoon found 2 members, but it wasn't enough to save the life out of Ducky. ShadowNightmare taking a spill in the middle lane to QvoFred. This is something that QvoFred really looks to do. It tries to isolate people, especially playing this Ratatoskr. It's just so easy. And look at what the clay golems were able to do. It sets up Arkkyl for so much damage. That Phoenix was at 50% health before the minions even got there.
Well, FrostiaK tried to get fancy and go aggressive on Arkkyl, and Arkkyl mezzed him in place and allowed the hammer to his head as he tried to run away. Another kill the way of Dignitas, and now they're looking to beat down Lion Guard's middle Phoenix as well.
They still have Fire Giant for about 1 minute and 50 seconds. They're using the golems rather effectively. Arkkyl is just shredding and melting this middle Phoenix. 2 Phoenixes down from Lion Guard. Team Dignitas 14 minutes in. They're up 15,000 gold.
Over 1,000 gold a minute right now, especially when this tier 2 tower goes, it's going to go even crazier. And 1 more Phoenix remains. There's no sign of letting up just yet. They could look for this Phoenix if they choose. I guess with the Fire Giant, why not?
Absolutely. They have so much control with Variety being able to cut off the escape and the entrance from Lion Guard to be able to get even in position, cutting off the left. Everyone from Lion Guard has to flood in the right if they actually want to defend, and all the abilities from Team Dignitas would just be thrown in that right side direction.
So Lion Guard get what they wanted, and you can see the ultimate used by Zyrhoes there, just for extra player damage to make himself get a little bit higher.
It's the vision. They wanted to make sure that Lion Guard wasn't going to chase them down. No lazy backing coming from Team Dignitas.
No, that was Qvo going, Zyrhoes, look at your player damage, noob. I'm beating you. You're supposed to be Noir. And he's like, oh, really? Well, in that case, I'm just going to ult on cooldown to make sure I stay top of the charts.
Hey, if you got it, flex it. That's exactly what Zyrhoes is doing. He has the Obsidian Shard finish. finished. He's working on the Ratatoskr as well if this game does progress any further, but with Fire Giant still for 30 seconds on Team Dignitas, I wouldn't be surprised if with all 3 Phoenixes down, they still waited out a little bit to get the next Fire Giant before they really close out the game, getting at least a frenzied ritual or 2 and then close out the game in that Tanner room.
It's a crazy game when you look at the actual levels of the people and realize that all 3 Phoenixes are down of Lion Guard right now. People complain about matchmaking. I'm complaining about matchmaking right now in this one because it's been a full stomp.
Ducky has just been getting abused this whole game. QvoFred is just stalking his prey. Baited out the Ragnarok, but he's going to disengage as well. Just going to sit with his team for a little bit longer. Fire Giant respawning in 1 minute. Everyone from Lion Guard has to sit in their base and defend all 3 lanes from these fire minions.
And at the moment, Dignitas not really interested in sieging around the Fire Giant. It's not spawned yet, so why not just keep pushing the waves? Look for picks like this in the mid lane.
Frezzy's going to get stunned out. Nice little CC immunity with the Wrath of Terror, but he gets walled off, forced into the meditation. Landing down is Arkkyl, cracking onto 3, but a nice egg is going to buy Arkkyl a lot of time with a 5-on-4 advantage. Frezzyy respawning in 20 seconds. This could be all she wrote here for Lion Guard.
It looks like it could be the case. 5 minions from every single lane pouring in. Trixtank going to march straight in and all in place of the Titan. There's not a whole lot I think Lion Guard can do as Ducky's already dead, and that's now a 5v3. The Titan will come into play and help it, but the Titan's defenses have already been shredded by all the Phoenixes being down. Dignitas take game 2 in less than 17 minutes.
What a performance from Team Dignitas, walking away with their second 2-0 victory so far in the SPL, having 6 points.
Well, it's time to head over to Taco again and break down both game 1 and that very quick game 2.
A very quick game 2 indeed, Hindu. Dignitas went ahead and they just completely, I mean, you don't ever want to say destroyed, but Dignitas just had absolutely complete control over the entire set. Even in the first game, even though that was a little bit more drawn out in game number 1 on the side of Team Dignitas, they still had, I'd say, a fairly dominant map presence, and I think a lot of that can be credited due to the pressure that was being distributed so frequently into that solo lane. It was a pretty bad day for Ducky, considering that Variety just had comfort picks all day long, and he came out on the tier and he came out swinging. Perfect combination coming out from Variety, going ahead and picking up a kill onto Ducky. And these solo kills are really important, considering that not only was he crediting those, but the fearlesses into multiple people is just so devastating when it comes to these team fights. And there's just so much CC coming out on the side of Team Dignitas. There's really not much room left for a response from Lion Guard. They were just getting completely destroyed by this tier and just non-stop fearless after fearless after fearless. And I mean, it was only a matter of time before Dignitas went ahead and picked up game number 1. And Variety was having the time of his life, getting one of his favorite comfort picks coming out. And we saw that again coming out in game number 2, where Variety showed up pretty big on the Ymir as well. But on top of all of that, this game was just complete snowball from the very start. Dignitas was farming pretty much 1k gold per minute, where we saw them already take a 15k gold lead at the 14.5 minute mark, which is pretty crucial, considering that once you get a lead that big, it becomes really difficult for the enemy team to come back, considering any time Lion Guard even tried to have a brief moment of retaliation, it was just completely stomped out due to the fact that they were just too far behind in items, too far behind in damage. And we saw it especially for QvoFred, having the time of his life on this Ratatoskr, just going ahead, securing a couple of pretty easy kills off of his ultimate. And he was just having so much fun. You could tell, again, placing so much pressure onto Ducky in this solo lane. Even though Variety probably didn't need the help because he was having a lot of fun over there by himself, you might as well go ahead and have your jungler pick up some early kills and XP. And again, I think that he did an excellent job here, holding out the Ratatoskr ultimate as long as he did. The patience on the side of QvoFred is crucial there, considering that you always want to make sure that you're utilizing it to the best of your ability, and that's exactly what he did. And Variety with these with this Ymir play, going ahead, walling out Frezzyy, just trapping him to his death. Nothing to be done. He's just going ahead and falling down. And speaking of Variety having a really fun time today, we've actually got Variety here on the line right now. Variety, what's up?
Hi, how's it going?
How you feeling after those Tyr and Ymir plays today?
Obviously it's pretty good getting a few solo kills, a bit reminiscent of Worlds, and obviously the 2-0 as well.
Yeah, I know you guys are probably more than happy going ahead and picking up your second 2-0 set. And more so than anything, I noticed that teams keep allowing you to have these comfort picks, and I'm assuming that's just something you're going to go for every time it's available?
Yeah, of course, because Tyr and Ymir aren't really gods that you want to waste bans on. You'd rather ban out gods like Susano and Khepri and other gods like that. So I'm going to expect it to come through a lot more.
Yeah, and what would you say, there's a lot of communication, I would say, going on between you and Q, but how's that been adjusting with the new team and everything like that? You guys look really comfortable together, but I want to see how it is from like your point of view.
Yeah, I think me and Qvo definitely got off to a good start. Like, we got on really well straight from the get-go, understand each other and how to play, and our communication on top of that is just on point when it comes to invading and ganking and defending our own buffs.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely tell there's a lot of synergy coming out between your team, and you guys are looking like a team that's been together for a lot longer than just, you know, the start of a split. So, if anything, are there any shout-outs you want to go ahead and give, by the way?
Shout-outs to my team, of course, for playing well today, and shout-outs to Dignitas and all our sponsors.
All right, well, congratulations once again to Team Dignitas for going ahead and picking up their second set victory and securing another 3 points for themselves for the weeks to come. And now